The screen transition, these are going to be the ones that actually occur. Click on the button here. These are going to occur when you two ways: when you either leave a scene and come back into a scene, and or you just simply want to use it to trigger within the scene going somewhere to another part of your scene. Go down to our there's two. We're going to put in two here. There's going to be a transition for the it'll look like this one right here. We'll put one for the enter, and then we'll put one in for the exit. All right, go back up to your plus. We'll go to our screen transition again, and then we'll go to the exit. All right, so we have a enter and we have an exit. We'll set up the basics for them to start with, and we'll do a second video on the specifics of them. So first part, if we go down to our options here, we've got a screen transition right there. So I'll go ahead and just set up the basic stuff here. We'll say screen transition enter. Enter transition state. Alright, general settings. We're going to say for now, we're actually going to leave it visible in the game just in case we make it a trigger box so you can see it in action. At the same time, we'll do the thumbnail here. At the same time, you can also say that it's part of the, so the two things that we've made already, we've done the managers, the level managers right here. You can say that this is going to actually tell the screen transition to start or stop. So it has a connecting system to it as well as with the goals. So the goal gets set, the manager comes on, tells this one to do something, tells something else to do something. So we will set it up with that in mind. Turn off the collider here. Also for the repeat, I'm going to clamp just so there's no pieces going across. You could have the tile animations in, but we're just going to leave it for the initial thumbnail on it. Trigger settings. I'm going to go ahead and enable the trigger setting just so that you can see it with the player going across it, but be sure that you either set it or don't set it based on the actual reason for it. So if it's not something the player is supposed to touch, then you probably want to disable that. Alright, we'll go ahead and go down and make sure we got everything else going. Okay. We actually have, we've probably got enough time on this one. We'll just do it here. Alright, so there's a transition type. Your transition type is going to be where you want to come in from. This is the transition image. Now, this doesn't have to be used. There is a gradient type. So if you want to use the image, you can say show texture image, and this is going to be the one that gets used. Or you can use the gradient type, and there's, I believe, 42 different ones of them. 0 is fade, and then the others just go through the build a game site and check out the updates on it so you can see which number you want, and then you put the ID there. You have a gradient invert direction and the gradient invert and gradient direction. This is just simply saying, is it going to go from 0 to 1 or 1 to 0? So you can change it back and forth on these two. And again, check them out because one way is going to give you the sensation of exiting the scene, and one's going to give you the one for entering the scene. Alright, so we'll have ours set up with just the start state for it. Audio option for it here. The start paused for button, just remember that this is actually saying if you were starting the level and you want to start where everything doesn't move, and then you have to click the button to continue, whether it be on the load screen or in-game screen part. Alright. We have the and if you do this one, the only catch is be sure you have text on the screen with your GUI that says, push button to start, something to let the user know that they actually need to perform an action to make it happen. Transition settings, how long is it going to take? This is currently saying by default it takes 1 second to use a gradient from a wipe, going from a color to nothing. If it's supposed to do more than one time, you can say that you want it to appear 2 or 3 times and then finish. The delay, there's a time delay start transition. How long before the start transition happens? You may want to enter a scene, have it black for 1 or 2 seconds, and then start having the transition occur. So instead of it being instant when you get into it. And then same thing, switch on the other end, you have the end state. So you're saying how long for the end transition to happen. Remember though, the goal, if you use the goal to switch a level, it has a delay until the level loads. Say this is 3 seconds. We want to make sure that this is less than 3 seconds so that it's not starting to fade and then it starts to load. You want it to completely fade and then the level load based on those times. So you'll have to kind of juggle those in your head. Just be sure that you're thinking about the numbers to get each part of the stage correctly done for it. Alright, the stay on at end. This means that if you click on this, if this is an exit state, we'll do that on our exit one, but it's saying that you're going to keep the image on screen until the next level loads. So if you wanted a purple transition screen and you want to make sure it stays purple and it's not doing the build a game load screen, then you can set it up for that. There'll be some other options down here for those as well. Alright, transition color. Currently it's on white. I'm going to go ahead and just take this to black here. Transition events. So on this one, this is actually saying on event enable transition. It's intended for a trigger event, so it's not something we would want to use here, but we want to use it in build a game, connecting a trigger event brush to it. And then the last option here, we have our screen, the load screen settings. So once it transitions, this stays on at end. So if we said stay, well, this isn't an end one, but if we had it on there, then we're going to have a load screen happen here for the next one. What do you want to show? You can say load image, which is the default image on here. You could say load the percentage, which is currently the default one, and fade in, fade out. So you have the option to do quite a bit in terms of how you want the look. So if you wanted to transition from one level that fades to black, the screen comes up black, and then the screen fades from black out to the next level, this is how you're going to set those up. And then you have the load screen text and start screen text. So both of those being just a full set of text that you can write in there. And they can be saying loading next scene. You might have something that that is more specific to your level or world or game that you're trying to get across, and you can use both of those. Alright, and we'll set those up when we do the others as well for the in transition.